1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, welcome to the first entry in the guitar journal at JoeDocMusic.com here. I'll take some samples. There's a previous entry I took from one of the DVDs, so you can get a feel for what that's like. These will be a little bit different. I'm just going to use a single camera and try to go like this, sort of a little bit over the top and down, so you can see better what the fingers are doing. Okay. So the first one here is a little bit more intermediate to advanced kind of lick, real country sounding. Let me do it on the bridge pickup. 3, 4. Okay, it can work cool as an outro kind of lick. I worked it up here to be more of the intro, so that's kind of a cool thing to do. After this, which is sort of like 4 bars of G, it's a G lick. I went up to... Okay, so the 4 chord and back to the 1, and to the 5, to the 4, and back to the 1, 4, 1. All right, so you can use that then to get into a tune too. That's kind of cool to understand how to take licks and use them in different spots. Okay, let's go through it note by note now and start off with understanding what the notes are of this. I thought this was a really cool topic, and this is not just for people that want to play this country or bluegrass kind of stuff. Rock players, Eddie Van Halen, Steve Morse, Zakk Wylde do this stuff all the time too, maybe just with a lot more distortion or something, so it'll work like that too. The cool thing to do here is keep some open strings ringing along with the notes of this scale, okay, and that gives it that country chicken picking kind of sound, okay, and we're going to use hybrid picking for that too, where those open strings are pretty often played with either the ring finger or the middle finger of the right hand, okay, and we'll look exactly at how that's done. First of all, the scale, we're in G here, okay, and since it's sort of a blues feeling, we've got the dominant 7 sound really kind of inside of every chord. So in this case, we'll use the dominant note of that major scale, okay? All right, making it a dominant scale. Instead of going... All right, we'll go... All right, a little bit cooler. All right, so here, from we go up here onto the 10th fret of the B string, okay, that gives us a G. Down to that F, that's the dominant 7, okay, that's on the 8th fret of the B string. Then we've got our E here, okay, now this is the first one we can also use as an open string, all right, so we can go like this. Okay, that's where we get that lick out of, all right, and let's look at how that's done. Pick that G, pick the F, and then as you're moving up to come down, moving upwards, picking upwards to come down to this D note here, okay, which is part of the scale, you're going to just use that upward motion to pick that high open E string. Okay, and the notes there, we also have D, C sharp, C, B flat to B, and G. Okay, the A would be part of that scale as well. We're just not using it in the lick here. Okay, so the sum total of the notes, G, F, E, D, D flat or C sharp, C, B flat, and B, and G, and of course the A would fit too. All right, that swing kind of history that comes along with these country licks, all right, that would fit in there, that A note for sure. Okay, let's look at, again, getting more ringing notes here. G to F, let that E string ring. It sounds really tense for a moment, but that tension is part of, when you get it up to speed, the thing that gives it that sound. All right, and there, in this case, go from the B flat and pick, all right, for the scale, it's not in the lick, but to play the scale, B flat to B to G like that. All right, that's going to give a much more tense sound. Go down the rest of the scale in a second, but all that ringing starts to add up to kind of like having a G chord ringing through the scale and fills out the sound. Okay, let's go down through the second octave here. When we land here, okay, from the B flat to the B into the G. Now we're ready to come down the second octave, G to F, and in this case we're going to skip the sixth. We're going to go right down to the D, the fifth. All right, and then grab the flat fifth here, the fourth here, open A, now that gives us our major second, B flat to B and G. All right, that would make the scale complete. Okay. So now you've got the notes down, all right, you know where they are. All right, and that's just sort of an uneven number there if we're taking all of them. We're going to learn to select the proper number of notes, and that's key to building a cool lick. So all our options. All right, and then we went to the second octave. Okay, all the notes, if we took them all, well, it's not really going to work out to be a nice even number that flows well. So that's why we're selectively leaving some notes out at some points, and that's really key to creating a cool lick. All right, so let's look at just taking a really simple scalar run down the whole thing and leaving a couple notes out selectively in order to make sure that we have 8 notes per bar. All right, here, and that winds up landing us then on a G again. So we have a strong downbeat along with the drums and the bass if you're playing with others, or just that illusion of it when you're playing on your own. That's really part of this swing history of these licks, that you really want to be on a strong beat, have a important chord tone, in this case the root. Okay, so let's count through and leave some notes out of the scale in order to make sure that we get 8 notes in before we hit the G again. So G, that's our first one. G, F, E, D, that's 4 notes. C, open G string, B flat, B, that's another 4 notes, and then that's a total of 8, and we then land on G at the downbeat of the next bar. So that, okay, and that ringing there again is giving us a really cool countryish kind of sound. Now that's the downbeat of the next one, and what we'll do here is come down G, F, open D string. There's our flat 5, 4th. And then we're using the A, the major second. Okay, and then coming up minor third, major third, and the root. Okay, and that would be a really straight scalar kind of lick, but it's got a cool sound and a cool flow because of not only the note choice, but because of the number of notes that you're taking. All right, that's really key to this. I want to just reiterate that. All right, and you can work that up to speed. Make sure you do that with a metronome or tapping foot if your rhythm's good. 2, 3, 4. Might get a little smoother. 3, 4. All right, that's really legato here, a lot of pull-offs. Let me do the actual lick now. All right, it's a little bit different. It's not a straight scalar thing. It starts off with hybrid picking. All right, maybe the middle finger here. Okay, we're starting on that F note. All right, now the first little section of this is a really cool sound, and it's something you'll probably need to practice a few times to get that picking down. All right, it starts like that. 2, 3, 4. All right, that was really pushing it. Hot stuff. All right, so we're starting off on the F note. All right, pulling off to the E, and then picking the D here, and then hybrid picking that high E note. Okay, that's the first move. First 4 notes. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. All right, just to make sure that you realize that swing 8-note counting thing is really important. Let's go through it bit by bit. That one we have. All right. That's pretty easy. We're just going down D to C sharp D, open G string. Excuse me, coughing there, just getting over this cold still. All right, we got that. Okay, now we got B flat to B, G to F. All right, now we're going to go to D, and then down to the C sharp there, C there. All right, let's go through from here again. All right, so count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then the lick ends like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, here, B flat to B, D to E, G, open G string, down to F, E, pull off to the D. Okay, and then C, O, A, open A string, B flat to B, 1, 2, 3, 4, boom, home. All right, now don't rest too long. If you're using that as the intro lick, then, all right, and we'll do that in the next video. I'm pretty much out of time here, okay? Thanks for watching. Make sure that you bookmark the site and come back. There's going to be more of these every month. We'll do some guitar, and there'll be the recording blog too, which has got some interesting stuff coming up on mixing in case you're a recording musician as well. Thanks, and see you again soon. 3, 4.